Hi, I'm Emberly. That's the name my parents gave me right before they decided I wasn't worth much else. Ironic that the girl they said would never amount to anything now owns a beachfront villa in Malibu and just sold her cybersecurity startup for $75 million. Funny how life works out. I was enjoying my morning coffee on the terrace when my security system pinged. A black Mercedes SUV pulled through my gates. Strange, since I wasn't expecting anyone. Miss Reynolds, there are 4 visitors claiming to be your family. My assistant's voice came through the intercom. My coffee cup nearly slipped from my hand. Family? I hadn't heard that word in about 12 years. Not since Uncle Richard made it clear I wasn't welcome at Thanksgiving dinner after I refused to let him manage my first company's finances. Send them to the main terrace, Diane. And activate Protocol Echo, please. Protocol Echo. My personal insurance policy, hidden cameras, microphones, everything recorded. I learned long ago to keep receipts when dealing with the Reynolds family. I adjusted my designer dress and took a deep breath as they walked onto my terrace. Uncle Richard still had that fake smile, though his designer suit looked a bit worn at the edges. Aunt Victoria was scanning my home like she was mentally calculating its worth. Behind them, my cousins Drew and Melissa looked uncomfortable. Emberly, darling! Look at you all grown up! Uncle Richard approached with open arms. 12 years will do that. I allowed a brief hug, feeling my skin crawl. What brings you all the way to California? Can't family just visit family? Aunt Victoria said, air kissing my cheeks. The same family that blocked my number and told everyone I had mental problems when I didn't show up to reunions I was never invited to? I kept my tone light, curious to see how they'd spin it. Uncle Richard laughed nervously. Ancient history. We've missed you, Emmy. Emmy, the nickname he used when he wanted something. We've had some setbacks recently, he continued, taking a seat without being offered one. Market fluctuations. Nothing serious. What your uncle means, Aunt Victoria interjected, is that we've had to downsize. Temporarily. I sold the Hamptons house, Uncle Richard admitted, and the company is facing some regulatory challenges. How terrible, I said, signaling Diane to bring refreshments. And you thought of me after all this time? Family is everything, Melissa finally spoke, looking genuinely uncomfortable. Dad thought, Uncle Richard cut her off, that reconnecting with my brilliant niece would be good for everyone. I read about your company sale. Impressive. I smiled, watching Diane set down the drinks. So, you need money? Uncle Richard looked offended. It's not about money, Emmy. It's about bringing the family back together. Of course, I replied, raising my glass. To family reunions? As they awkwardly toasted, I activated the recording app on my smartwatch. This was going to be quite the reunion indeed. So, Uncle Richard, tell me more about these regulatory challenges your company's facing, I said, refilling his glass of expensive bourbon. He shifted uncomfortably. Just standard auditing nonsense. Nothing a man of my experience can't handle. After they left with promises to catch up properly at dinner tomorrow, I called the one person I still trusted from my old life. They showed up at your door? After everything? Marcus's voice was filled with disbelief. Marcus had been my parents' neighbor's son and witnessed firsthand how my family treated me. I need you to dig into Richard's company. Something's off. Already on it. I still have contacts at the SEC from my reporting days. I spent the evening searching through business news archives. By midnight, my laptop screen was filled with concerning headlines. Reynolds Financial under federal investigation. Potential fraud allegations hit family firm. My phone buzzed. Marcus. It's worse than I thought, Em. Richard's company is being investigated for investor fraud. They're about to freeze all his assets. That's why he sold the Hamptons house. And suddenly family matters again, I muttered. There's more. Melissa filed for bankruptcy last month. Drew's medical license is under review for prescription irregularities. I laughed bitterly. The perfect storm. No wonder they tracked me down. The next morning, Drew showed up alone, carrying coffee. Thought you might like your favorite, he said, handing me a vanilla latte. Interesting you remember my coffee order but forgot my phone number for 12 years? He winced. Look, I know we were awful to you. Awful? You told everyone I had a psychotic break when I didn't show up to Grandma's funeral. A funeral I wasn't even told about until after it happened. That was Dad's idea. He said you were unstable after you refused to let him invest your first company funds. You mean after I refused to let him steal my money like he stole my college fund? The one Melissa mysteriously got instead? Drew looked genuinely surprised. Is that what happened? Dad told everyone you withdrew it yourself during your episode. Of course he did. Tell me, Drew, what does Dad say about my recent company sale? He hesitated. He mentioned it could be a fresh start for everyone if you were generous with family. How much does he need? $8 million, minimum, to settle with investors before the case goes public. My doorbell rang. Marcus stood there with a folder. Drew, meet Marcus, my actual family. I've got everything, Marcus said, ignoring Drew's extended hand. Financial records, recorded board meetings, evidence of the rumors they spread about you. Even found the original email chain where Victoria suggested telling everyone you were mentally unstable. Drew paled. Emberly, I had no idea. Save it. You had 12 years to ask for my side of the story. Now I have questions, and you're going to answer every single one. Starting with exactly what Richard's planning to do with my money if I'm stupid enough to hand it over. Drew squirmed under my gaze. He's planning to use most of it to settle with the investors who are threatening to press charges. The rest would go toward restarting the company under a different name. And let me guess, my name wouldn't be anywhere on the paperwork. I really didn't know, Emberly. I swear. I made a split-second decision. Tell Uncle Richard I'm considering his proposal. I want to discuss it over dinner tomorrow night. Here. Everyone needs to attend. After Drew left, Marcus stared at me. You're not seriously giving that crook money? Of course not. But I want them all in one room, comfortable enough to tell me exactly what they did. My security system will record everything. Diabolical. I love it. Marcus grinned. Need any help? Actually, yes. Remember Mrs. Hoffman? She worked for my parents for years. I need you to track her down, along with any other staff who might have witnessed how they treated me. The next day, I spent hours prepping. By evening, my dining room was set for a formal dinner, complete with hidden microphones. I wore my most expensive outfit. Nothing says success like a woman in a power suit. They arrived right on time, faces painted with fake smiles. What a spread! Uncle Richard exclaimed, eyeing the wine. Just like the old days. Better, I hope, I replied. Speaking of old days, remember how you used to tell everyone I was too unstable to attend family events? The room went quiet. Water under the bridge, Aunt Victoria said quickly. We were all going through difficult times. Especially Melissa after she got my college fund. Melissa choked on her wine. What? Dad said Grandma changed her mind and left it to me. Interesting. Uncle Richard, care to clarify? He waved dismissively. Ancient history. Let's focus on the present and future. Yes, let's. I raised my glass. To family loyalty. The dinner progressed, and with each glass of wine, their tongues loosened. Remember when you had that breakdown in college? Aunt Victoria laughed. We were right to keep you away from Grandma's funeral. What breakdown? The one Richard told everyone about, Melissa said, then covered her mouth. Oh. I never had a breakdown. I was building my first company while you were all spending Grandma's money. Uncle Richard cleared his throat, pulling papers from his jacket. Speaking of companies, I have the investment opportunity right here. Simple paperwork. You transfer the funds, become a silent partner in our family legacy. Silent being the key word, right? Like you've kept me silent for 12 years? Business is business, Emmy. Family is family. Sometimes they overlap. I took the papers, pretending to review them. I'll need to think about this. In the meantime, I'm holding a press conference next week. I'm launching a charitable foundation and would love for my family to be there. Uncle Richard's eyes lit up. Press conference? With financial reporters? All the major outlets. It would mean so much to have family support. We wouldn't miss it, he said. practically salivating at the networking opportunity. Later that night, after they left, I called Marcus. It's all set. They took the bait completely. Did you find Mrs. Hoffman? Her and 3 other former staff members, all willing to go on record about how your family treated you? Perfect. Time for phase 2. The conference room at the Malibu Grand Hotel buzzed with reporters, cameras, and business elites. My family arrived dressed to impress, Uncle Richard working the room like he owned it. There's my brilliant niece. He approached, arm outstretched. We're all so proud. Save it for the cameras, which should be rolling any minute. I stepped to the podium, my family seated prominently in the front row. The lights dimmed, and the giant screen behind me lit up with my company logo. Thank you all for coming. Today isn't just about announcing a new foundation. It's about truth. The screen changed to display old email exchanges and financial documents. 12 years ago, I was deliberately cut off from my family after refusing to let my uncle embezzle funds from my first startup. To justify my absence, they spread rumors about mental instability. Gasps echoed through the room. Aunt Victoria stood up. This is ridiculous. We should go. Please stay, Aunt Victoria. The authorities waiting outside would love to speak with you all anyway. The screen changed again, showing video clips from my dinner party, with Uncle Richard openly discussing defrauding investors and attempting to manipulate me. For the record, I've been cooperating with the SEC for months regarding Reynolds Financial's fraudulent activities. Uncle Richard lunged toward the stage. You ungrateful little... Security intercepted him immediately. I'd watch what you say next, I warned. Threatening me in front of witnesses would just add to your charges. The screen showed testimonials from former family employees, including Mrs. Hoffman. She was just a child, Mrs. Hoffman's voice rang out. They mocked her ambitions, stole her college fund, then invented mental problems when she succeeded anyway. Drew sank lower in his chair while Melissa openly cried. And now, my actual announcement. I'm launching the Reclamation Foundation, dedicated to helping victims of family financial abuse rebuild their lives and businesses. Applause erupted from the crowd as Uncle Richard was escorted out by hotel security, a federal agent discreetly following. One last thing, I added. To any Reynolds Financial investors present today, my legal team will be available to help you recover what you can. The aftermath was swift. Social media exploded with the story. Uncle Richard's remaining business partners publicly severed ties within hours. The SEC announced formal charges by evening. Later that night, I hosted a small gathering at my villa. Marcus raised a glass. To the most brilliant revenge I've ever witnessed. My new circle of friends, actual friends who'd stood by me through building my company, cheered. Did you see Victoria's face when the emails appeared? Marcus laughed. Not as priceless as when Richard realized those investor contacts he was hoping to meet were actually there to witness his downfall. My phone buzzed with a message from Drew. I'm sorry, for everything. I should have stood up for you. I left it on read and rejoined my real family. Breaking news, someone called, turning up the TV. Richard Reynolds, CEO of Reynolds Financial, taken into custody on multiple fraud charges. I smiled, watching the footage of Uncle Richard being escorted to a police car, his designer suit not quite as impressive with handcuffs as an accessory. Worth the 12-year wait? Marcus asked quietly. Every second, I raised my glass. To cutting toxic ties and building something better. What would you have done in Emberly's position? Should we always cut toxic family members completely out of our lives? Or is there value in maintaining those relationships despite past hurts? Many people believe blood is thicker than water, and family should always be forgiven, while others think chosen family is more important than those who mistreat you. Where do you stand? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this revenge story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that make you think. Your support helps this channel grow.